Boom. There we go. Adjusting my camera. There we go. Hello, everybody. All right. Welcome all. Let me get TikTok rolling here. And then we are all set. 1 moment. And I've got to update the title on TikTok. Oops. One second. My sister's about to do something. All right, hold on. We're getting our house painted and just finished, but the guy kind of left something undone, and I sent it to my sister, and she says, I'm sending him the video, and I'm like, okay, but I was talking on that video. I wasn't sure if I was, because I was like, look at this. Shouldn't you have done this? Oh, well, anyway, welcome everybody. The never-ending travails here in the homeland. All right, let me get, hold on. 20, I'm going to say 2024 election and not Trump assassination, because otherwise the mods will never be able to do anything here. Election and Ukraine. All right. Hey, guys. All right, let me get my, what am I doing here? Oh, live goal. All right. One moment. I'm really tired of dealing with my mom's house. I'm really freaking over it at this point. All right. DPD. Oh, we're getting more Rockstar. I do love that Rockstar thing. It makes me laugh. All right. Boom. All right. Go live. All right. Ooh, hello, all. All right. TikTok is rolling. All right. Let me turn my video around because the TikTokers get very upset when I don't reverse my video. All right. And boom. There we go. Oh, okay. Let's all relax. Hey, Paul. How are you in the UK? Let's all relax. La, la, la. Oh, boy. Man. Howdy, Big Hawk. Hey, everybody. Oh, I just hit the time thing again. Oh, I hate this. I've got the controller for the garage in my pocket, and I hit it like every 2 seconds, but I never quite know if it's me or not, and I'm afraid I'm going to hit it one of these times, and I'm going to think it's me, and it's actually my nephew, and I'm going to shut it on him. But anyway, hey, buddy. So many issues. All right, guys, welcome. Thank you, user 336 on TikTok. Oh boy, long weekend, just busy weekend. Thank you, Mark Starr. You'll be over on the tube today. All right, welcome, guys. Just looking at. Thank you, Jen, for the gifts. Good evening from Spain. Hey, Trash, where are you in Spain? I don't recall. Hey, Martin, Jen, thanks for the gifts. The mom estate stuff is going slowly. It's going. We just sort of had the painter finish, a couple little things he didn't finish, so we're just talking about that. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Nicolette. It's just big. Oh, it's just very big and overwhelming. Thank you, Jetta. So I'm in frustration mood or tired mood today. You lost a very good friend Friday night. I'm sorry about that, Jen. Hey, Hannah. Thank you for the gift. Thank you, Hannah. Multiple gifts. Thank you, Martin. Cheer me up. That's a cute gift. Thank you, Martin. Thank you, Mel. All right, guys. So welcome. I am John Aravosis. Thank you, Martin. We love the Elvis gift on TikTok. It's cool. Like I told you, like this whole bouffant or whatever you call that big. It's almost like Trump. Actually, it's almost like Trump's haircut. Thank you, Marie, for the mustache and hat. Elizabeth, Daniel, Max Tracks, all the regulars are giving today. Thank you, guys. Martin, I did see those US UK gloves, particular for our UK friends. Thank you, Jen. The same little. I have to like throw the hair around. Oh, and the boneless goose. So you guys on YouTube don't get to see this, but they're putting goofy things on my head that I get to like fly around. It's very cool. A pompadour. That's what it is. Okay. Thank you, Sean Noir and Jeffrey. It's a pompadour. So it's this like cool, like rolled up hair. Again, like Trump's in front to a degree, but it's this big hanging thing like this. It's very cool. Thank you, Jane, for that. Oh boy. An interesting stitch of my video. Was it an evil stitch or a good stitch, Carol? Was it a good stitch or a bad stitch? To make our Wizard of Oz reference, are you a good witch or a bad witch? Thank you, Running. I tend not to look at those just because it spares my feelings. Thank you, Doug. Very Elvis. Oh, it's very Elvis. Yeah, totally. Or, well, Elvis. Did I say Elvis? I think I meant Elvis. I didn't say Elvis. I have a pomp now. This is definitely not a pomp, but Thank you, Vicky. Thank you, Jen. Oh, my rock star. Anyway, so welcome, guys. As you know, we've got some Trump news today. Thank you, Randy and Fred. And then with Ukraine news, we'll do our usual. We'll do the election stuff first, and then we'll jump into Ukraine. As you know, there was I'm a lawyer. I like to be precise with my language. Thank you, Shah Noir. There was not an assassination attempt on Donald Trump this weekend. There was what looked like a guy that was getting ready for an assassination attempt on Donald Trump. We don't know yet. Looks like it. He didn't fire any shots. Trump was not in range. Trump was not even visually there yet. So it wasn't an assassination attempt yet, but it looks like he might have been preparing to shoot at Trump. Thank you, Kim. Thank you, Lamb Chop. He did not shoot yet. The Secret Service guys basically go and they were saying it was Trump's golf course. Which golf course? It was in Florida. Was it Mar-a-Lago or which one was it, guys? Doesn't he have a couple in Florida? I forget. I know it's Florida because those are the folks who were like the place where it was assigned to. But it what was I going to say? Somebody was being indescript with their language. It was obviously an assassination attempt. Okay. I'm going to have to pretend like you're 2 years old here. We already went through this. Was a bullet fired? No. Then it was not an attempted assassination. It was a preparation for an assassination. The same thing you do, for example, if we're preparing to rob a bank. You could still go to jail for that, but they didn't rob the bank yet. They didn't try to kill him yet. If you don't try to kill somebody, it's not attempted murder. It can be conspiracy murder, but it's not actually. No, it's not cute, actually. It's called the law. You might want to look it up because law matters, words matter. This is something you will not find on the Republicans. I admit on the MAGA side of the aisle, you typically will not find commentators who A, are educated and B, have kind of a strange reverence for the truth, which I have, but I do. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of lying. You'll get used to it. So any case, guys, so the Secret Service guy did a very good job. Thank you, Charles, for the gift. He was ahead of Trump. So basically, Trump is golfing, and the Secret Service guy goes to the next hole and sees literally an AK-47, muzzle of a gun sticking out of the bush, and he fires at the guy. Thank you, Ava. The guy drops the gun and goes running. They end up catching him. He's a bit of a weirdo. His name's Ryan Wesley Ruth. Again, alleged shooter, or alleged preparatory shooter. He didn't shoot yet. He's weird. He's a former Republican, but he also hates Trump. But he also wanted to support Nikki Haley in the election this time around, who was a Republican candidate that ran against Trump. He's a big fan of Tulsi Gabbard, who is a Democrat who basically became a Republican, who hates Democrats and loves Trump. So this guy's politics. Remember, the first shooter 2 months ago was a Republican. Remember, a registered Republican. This guy was a Republican, but who also then hated Trump. So very weird. He also is a big fan of Ukraine. Thank you, Randy. Thank you, Annie. The Ukraine stuff is also weird. He was involved in protests on behalf of Ukraine, but then gave all of these interviews about, wants to lay his life down for Ukraine. It was just a little bit over the top. I've seen, actually, New York Times interviewed him. I watched the interview from years ago. He looked a little woo-woo, if you ask me. He was a little weird. And I think supposedly there was a report today that he tried to join the Ukrainian military and the Ukrainian military rejected him. Very weird guy. They're still trying to find the motive, although it's the guy seems, I hate to use language because we don't know the guy yet. He just seems a little short here. He's a little wacky, which of course raises the question of how did he get a gun? Well, it doesn't really raise that question. This is America. Republicans make sure that every crazy person can get a gun because that's what they do. Ironically, Republicans, of course, are freaking out about the almost attempted shooting. Thank you, Grumpy, which they should freak out about because I think it's bad to have former presidents be shot at. The problem is, of course, I guarantee you the Republicans are now going to do everything they can to make sure that the next shooter gets a gun. Just watch right now. There is going to be not a single MAGA Republican, because they are the ones who control the Republican Party, who comes out and says, we need to ban some guns to stop this. This time it was an AK-47. Usually it's an AR-15, although I will say AR-15s are the guns that they like to use to kill children in schools. In America, we're very precise about our mass murders. This AK-47 apparently, he wanted to use for a presidential assassination, but if they're going to kill small kids, which happens every week here, they like AR-15s. It's, again, the sort of MAGA gun of choice. Republicans love to defend it. Used to be banned, by the way. Then the ban expired and Republicans refused to let it be banned again. But I want to put this out there. Just watch. Just watch. You are going to see, and Trump's already doing it today. Trump is, Kamala Harris is a communist and she almost got me killed. Trump is trying to say that because he tried to violently overthrow the government and then got called out for trying to violently overthrow the government, that's why he almost got shot this weekend or shot at, and therefore we can no longer criticize him for trying to violently overthrow the government. He also blamed the fact that all the court cases, all the felonies against him. Remember, he was convicted of 34 felonies. He's under indictment for other felonies, stealing classified information, trying to, again, not just violently overthrow the election, but trying to steal the election. Again, the man has committed so many crimes. He was also found liable in court for sexually assaulting a woman. When you're a bad human being, you can't sort of criticize people for calling you out for being a bad. Here's the thing. When you're a bad human being and you say, people keep trying to kill me for being a bad human being, maybe you have to ask yourself, and again, nobody, violence bad, illegal. We don't like that. And also sets up a really bad precedent too. We don't want people killing presidents and killing, right? Then people start killing each other and it's bad, right? Then someone goes after Biden and someone goes out, right? It just becomes a cultural thing, which is not good. It used to happen in the Middle East. We learned this in our Middle East studies classes, sort of a big culture of assassinations that happened there, in the last decade, the last centennial. Well, if you're bottom line here is, if someone tries to kill you because you're an extremist, you shouldn't simply be concerned that people are calling you an extremist. Perhaps you should also be concerned about your extremism that's motivating these people, right? No justification for political violence, none. But if you're going to say, we need to, ban the thing that leads to political violence, well, okay, you could say letting people know you tried to violently overthrow the election led to the guy not wanting you around anymore. But was it that we informed him that you tried to violently overthrow the government? Or was it the fact that you tried to violently overthrow the government that motivated the guy, right? So if you're trying to ban the thing that motivated him, it was you. You motivated the guy to do what he did. And again, you motivated the guy to commit a crime, a heinous crime, right? Let's make that clear. But anyway, Trump is on the warpath, doing his typical little bullshit, trying to blame Kamala Harris. Let me read you a little bit about this. Where's these? Oh, actually, that's what I'm going to get to next. He wrote today on his little social media account, True Social, the one that's really dropping in the on the stock market. He wrote, and now, mind you, and some story I just read, maybe it was the New York Times, it was great, but it said basically Trump condemns harsh political language by using harsh political language, right? He's literally doing the thing he's accusing Democrats of. Thank you, Lamb Chop. Thank you, Pedro. So Trump is saying, Kamala Harris and Joe Biden almost got me killed twice because they keep criticizing me and using language that makes people not like me. And then listen to the language he uses while saying this, okay? Thank you, Tari. Listen to this. The rhetoric lies as exemplified by the false statements made by comrade. I'm sorry. Hold on. Almost forgot. I will say I made my brother laugh this weekend because he came over and he saw the hair and he was like, "Do you wear that for your show?" And I said, "Only when I'm reading something from Trump." And he laughed, even though I'm pretty convinced he'll vote for Trump. But even he laughed at the hair. So I felt like that was a partial victory for the forces of good. So Trump's tweet today. The rhetoric lies as exemplified by the false statements made by comrade Kamala Harris. Comrade, he's calling her a communist. He's claiming that she, opposes America, wants to destroy America, right? Language that, of course, isn't going to get anybody shot. Oh, no. That falsely calling Kamala Harris a communist is totally okay, but literally telling people what Donald Trump did on January 6th, when he tried to violently overthrow the government and police officers died as a result. That's wrong. We're not allowed to actually report the news, but we are allowed to spew lies. Okay, just to make that clear. Comrade Kamala, the false statements made by Comrade Kamala Harris during the rigged and highly partisan ABC debate, and all of the ridiculous lawsuits specifically designed to inflict damage on Joe, meaning Biden's, then Kamala's political opponent, me, has taken politics. By the way, he didn't write this. I can always tell. I'm a good writer and stuff, but a very good writer and stuff, and I'm very good at languages, speak a number of them. And Trump, interestingly with this, is I can always tell when Trump didn't really write the tweet that I'm reading. Sorry, for the Greek out there, I put this on when I'm reading Trump's tweets. I have to put on the hair so I can fully get into Trump costume. So I did not change my hair, no. You can always tell when Trump didn't write it. Okay, Trump did not write this. It's written to sound crazy, but his people, basically Stephen Miller, I think, writes it. It's written by somebody with too high of an education, and they're not able to write dumb enough. Trump's, whenever you read a paragraph from Trump, it literally reads like a crazy person said it. It stops mid-sentence. It breaks and goes somewhere. Like literally, it's like, oh, Comrade Kamala Harris, Penny, right? Like different topic. Boom. And the grammar is bad. The sentence structure sounds like a child wrote it, a non-American child, basically, an immigrant maybe, if we want to be polite. This is written too well. A normal, intelligent human being wrote this, sorry, this is itching my nose, and tried to write it in a way that that would sound like Trump, except that it's too intelligent. Anyway, listen to this, because you can tell, because again, even though it's crazy, all the sentences are perfect. Okay, listen to this. All of the ridiculous lawsuits specifically designed to inflict damage on Joe's, then Kamala's political opponent, me. Now, I'm going to do it without the accent, just so you can hear how well this is actually written, has taken politics in our country to a whole new level of hatred, abuse, and distrust. See, if I don't do the crazy Trump accent, this is written way too well. His staff always falls into this problem. They just can't write crazy stuff for him that sounds like him, because normal people who are well-educated and write well cannot write for a crazy person. Like it's hard for, maybe I could. I'd have to really, it would be very difficult to try to write Trump. Thank you, Jorge. Because of this communist left rhetoric, the bullets are flying and it will only get worse. The bullets are flying because you created a culture of violence in this country, and then instilled violence and motivated violence on January 6th. I was watching today, by the way, another video of Trump's former defense secretary, Mike Esper, talking about when he was in a meeting with Trump. This interview was probably from a year ago, I think, a year or two ago. But I hadn't seen the interview. I hadn't seen this part of the interview before. And Trump's own Secretary of Defense says he was in a meeting with Trump, and Trump told him he wanted to use the military to shoot protesters, peaceful protesters outside the White House. People were protesting. I don't know. These might have been the BLM people. I don't know who the hell it was. And they were peaceful. And Trump asked him, he goes, can't we just shoot them? Can't I just parachute? He said they wanted to literally parachute troops, U.S. military troops, outside the White House on the ground. Totally illegal, by the way, by U.S. law, federal law. It's against the law. He wanted to parachute them in and said, can't we just parachute them in and have them shoot everybody? But we'll just shoot them in the legs. We won't like shoot them in the chest to kill them. Can we just parachute in and use the army to just shoot everybody in the legs who's protesting peacefully outside the White House right now? And you ask yourself, why is it that there's a culture of violence leading to assassination attempts? Why could it be? Anyway, speaking of violence, Elon Musk then complained last night on Twitter that no one was trying to kill Joe Biden or Kamala Harris. Everyone pretty much interpreted it as Elon Musk literally suggesting somebody go and kill Kamala Harris or Joe Biden. By the way, that would be the sitting president and vice president of the United States. Elon Musk would be a huge defense contractor. It is insane that Elon Musk is still getting federal contracts. I've had a very high level security clearance, above top secret. I would not keep my security clearance had I suggested that, gosh, it's such a bad, I lamented that nobody was trying to kill the president of the United States or the vice president, the sitting one. I would be certainly having a talk with the Secret Service, and I would lose all my federal contracts, and I would lose my security clearance. And then he took it down and said, basically, oh, people can't take a joke. I told my friends and they thought it was really funny. And then I wrote it and nobody liked it. Yeah, it's kind of funny, isn't it? That when you lament not killing the president of the United States, people kind of have a problem with that. Yeah, the Elon. He's a sick puppy. Washington Post. Washington Post said the Secret Service is kind of leaking information about Trump that's interesting. Secret Service had told Trump previously. Secret Service is our organization that protects the president, right? And former president, presidential candidates, things like that. And they had warned Trump previously that it was very dangerous for him to play golf and that basically people could shoot at him from the golf course. And Trump said, no, we're not going to do it. Listen to this. Washington Post says, soon after Donald Trump became president, authorities tried to warn him about the risks posed by golfing at his own courses because of their proximity to public roads. Secret Service agents came armed with unusual evidence, not suspect profiles or spent bullet casings, but simple photographs taken by news crews of him golfing at his private club in Sterling, Virginia. They reasoned that if photographers with long-range lenses could get the president in their sights while he golfed, so too could potential gunmen, according to former U.S. officials. But Trump insisted that his clubs were safe and that he wanted to keep golfing. These preferences posed problems for his protection that former Trump aides, Secret Service officials, and security experts said have only intensified. So, yeah, Secret Service told Trump this wasn't safe, what he was doing, golfing in the open, and he refused. He said no. They, where is it? Let me pull up the exact quote again. Trump insisted his clubs were safe and that he wanted to keep golfing. So he said, no, it's not true. My clubs are safe. I'm not going to get shot at. Again, not a justification for being shot at, obviously. That's a bad thing. Thank you, Jen Thomas, for subscribing. But, you know, if Trump, again, wants to find a person responsible for helping this, well, almost attempted assassination, preparation for an assassination take place, he might want to look in the mirror. But that doesn't matter. He's fundraising off of it too. No, of course he is. Of course he is. Everybody else would be kind of quiet for a few days. Donald Trump literally has put out multiple fundraisers. Guys, I think this only happened. Was it yesterday? Was it Saturday or Sunday that this happened? I don't even remember now. Was it Saturday or Sunday? A day or two ago. I don't even remember. I thought it was a day ago, wasn't it? I know you guys are a little behind me on in terms of there's a time delay here. Yes, it was just yesterday. He's already sent out several fundraisers already in the last day. Fundraising emails, trying to make money off of it. That's who he is. That's our boy. That's our boy. All right, let's move on to Ukraine. Day 934 of Vladimir Putin's special 3-day military operation. The Danish government has promised to transfer another batch of F-16 fighters to Ukraine this year. Copenhagen has pledged to deliver 19 aircraft to Ukraine in total. We don't know how many have already been sent, but we do know the Danes have said that, in fact, they did already deliver planes to Ukraine. I believe it would have been July or August at this point. Ukraine was also promised 24 F-16s by the Netherlands, 6 by Norway, and 30 by Belgium. Yesterday, the Russians did an aerial bomb against a residential high-rise in the Ukrainian city of Kharkiv. At least 42 people were injured, including 3 children. In Kursk, so Kursk is that region bordering Ukraine that the Ukrainians invaded to basically get even with the Russians, right? So the Russians have been fighting Ukraine. I can grab my. It's been a while. I haven't shown you the map. Although I do need to, like I said, I'm losing my little push pins on the map. I'm gonna have to get new push pins. It's got a skirt now. My map has a skirt, but the Russians are occupying this part of Ukraine. So a lot of the fighting naturally is happening along here between the Russian occupation forces and the Ukrainian military. Well, the Ukrainians decided to pull a fast one on the Russians and invade Russia. So up here, Sumy province in Ukraine, it's Kursk province over here in Russia. The Ukrainians invaded and took some land. Russians are not happy about it. Excuse me. It's been a month, probably 5 weeks now, about 5 weeks since the Ukrainians invaded. The Russians did reportedly start a counteroffensive last week. British Ministry of Defense confirmed it. They may have taken back a few towns, a few small villages, but Ukraine itself also is reported to have taken some small villages as well. So there's kind of a little bit of a push me, pull you going on in terms of that. What else do we have here? 206 prisoners of war were exchanged between Ukraine and Russian militaries this weekend in a deal mediated by United Arab Emirates. Some of those, if not all of them, but some of those Russian POWs were actual Russians that the Ukrainians were able to catch in Kursk, which is kind of cool. So Putin has said he signed legislation to increase the Russian military personnel and staff by 180,000 people by later this year, by the end of the year. Ukraine's victory plan is 90% complete. Zelensky says, as you know, there was a story just last week that Biden and some of the European governments, which basically means Biden, France, and Germany, are pressuring Ukraine to come up with a plan for how they're going to win. And, thank you, Matteo. I'm sure Ukraine's thinking, give us the damn weapons you've been sitting on for 2.5 years and stop holding our hands back, but whatever. So Ukraine says, fine, we're going to prepare a plan for victory and we're going to give it to you. So it's 90% complete. He's going to present it during a meeting with Biden in September, Zelensky will. A Kremlin propagandist was attacked in Belgorod, which is another Russian region just across the border. Belgorod is right here. There's a lot of fighting that takes place there because it's right across from Ukraine's town of Kursk. A big Russian propagandist attacked and reportedly killed. He is, what is this? He's a war correspondent. I mean, these are not independent journalists. In Russia, they literally work for the government. They're propagandists for the government because it's a dictatorship. He was a war correspondent on Kremlin state media channel Russia 1. Ukrainian military intelligence, in a post on Telegram, social media, said he died after his skull was crushed. They then accused him of being a propagandist and kind of said something to the effect of, when you commit war crimes, bad things happen to you. The Kyiv Independent then contacted Ukrainian military intelligence. I sort of love this. Kyiv Independent contacted Ukrainian military intelligence for confirmation of who was behind the attack. Ukrainian military intelligence replied to the email with a smiley face wearing sunglasses. So an emoji with a smiley face and sunglasses, kind of basically being cool and collected, like, ooh. So sounds like Ukrainian military intelligence got him. Lanza, I was reading the initial report saying they thought he died. You're saying he hasn't died? He was injured, but they thought he died. Maybe not. Okay, Lanza's saying he didn't die. Nonetheless, oh well. F around, find out. Bloomberg Media reports that British Prime Minister is seeking Italy's support for letting Ukraine use long-range missiles inside Russia. And it said that British officials are also holding talks with their French and the Germans. The Germans will not come around. French, maybe. Who knows? The Americans are the big roadblock here. Let's see what Biden's doing. Hold on. Reportedly, Biden is going to be having a conversation with Zelensky about this. I'm not sure what that means. Whether he means he's going to talk to Zelensky and say, okay, or whether he's going to talk to Zelensky because he needs to tell him, I can't do it, but you're my friend and I need to tell you why in person on the phone. I don't know. I'm not terribly hopeful here. And finally, Latvia will provide Ukraine with an unspecified number of armored vehicles previously purchased from the UK. So there we go. Not a ton of news today, even looking at the Trump preparation for an assassination attempt this weekend. So there you go. That is our news. I'm going to yawn at you. I got a good night's sleep. I'm still tired. Oh, thank you, Maddie, for the gift. Thank you, Maddie, again. Keep the gifts coming, guys. As you know, I do this for a living. Your gifts are very, very, very helpful. So thank you for that. So let's hang and talk. We can talk about Ukraine. We can talk about the election. We can talk about all the crazy Trump stuff this weekend. We can talk about the fact that Donald Trump tried to violently overthrow the government and is a very bad man. Tiny Dog is asleep under the table. Oh, Tiny Dog. Tiny Dog is back at my sister's. My sister came back. She was gone for a few days. So Layla, that's right. I don't think she was gone, so she didn't get to see the broadcast. She doesn't. If she's watching now, she'll know that Layla got to be our little co-broadcaster for a while. She was being needy, so it was easier just to hold her up here while I was doing the show. It was very cute. I don't hear Tiny Dog. Exactly, Carol. Thank you, Linka, for the rose. Maddie, Oh, excuse me. Anyway, what the hell's going on over here? It's chaos, Marcus. It's chaos. Well, I mean, again, thank you, Stephen. Republicans have been dividing the country for 30 years. Donald Trump sort of raised it to an art form. He's been promoting violence. He's been promoting stochastic terrorism. You can Google it, but it's basically where your words and your actions lead to terrorist acts. We've had a number of domestic terrorist acts that have been directly motivated by Donald Trump. This is sort of the irony of, not the irony, but like, yeah, when you have a man who believes in violence, who has practiced violence, who tried to violently overthrow the government, who calls for the death of his political opponents. He called for someone to shoot Hillary Clinton, basically. You're then surprised that people start turning violent. I mean, just this last week, they were putting out racist stories about Haitian immigrants in Ohio, claiming falsely that they're eating the cats and dogs of all the nice white Americans. All the black Haitians are eating their cats and dogs, Trump said. He lied. There's no evidence at all of that. As a result, the local city and then the local schools have been getting bomb threats. Today, the schools, I believe I read, had to close again because of the bomb threats they're getting from apparently Trump supporters. Yep, totally not true. Yeah, it's true. Do your research. Yeah, you see, Mary, the thing is, you're dealing with normal, smart Americans here. A lot of studies have been done on this, that when the Russian trolls back in 2016 were interfering in the American election, there were some bot farm, actually not just trolls, there were some former Yugoslavian, I forget whether they're Bosnia or what, who were trying to make money off of scamming Americans. And they were basically taking money and doing it, setting up fake news pages for Democrats, fake news pages for Republicans, basically just causing as much chaos as possible. And I think the Russians were paying them. And what they found was they would set up fake news websites and then put out fake stories and try to trick Democrats and Republicans into believing, the worst stories about the other side in America. And what they said, beautiful article I read, the guy said, we eventually had to stop doing it targeting Democrats because we found that Democrats didn't believe it. Democrats were basically too smart and educated, and they would go to our website and look at the story and go, well, that sounds like bull. And they would then Google and see the story wasn't true. He said with Republicans, they found that Republicans just don't think. And they read whatever they see online. They don't care what website it is. And they would believe this fake Russian propaganda left and right. So for business, because this guy only wanted to make money, he said, for money purposes, we stopped doing the Democratic stuff because Democrats were too smart. They didn't believe any of the lies. And Republicans believed like every conspiracy theory, every lie. So it was very interesting. Very interesting. But no, it's a cult. I mean, it's a cult. What do you do? I mean, I'm not happy about it. But again, leads to political violence and everything else. But what do you do? What else? Yes, Putin increased the armed forces. It's not too much, though. I mean, I shouldn't say it's not much. What do you say? 400,000 men? About? Yep. I know. How do we sneak in education? I don't know. How do you educate people who don't want to be educated? I kind of feel like, to some degree, Democrats and independents should just let the MAGA people do what they want. Let them teach their kids that dinosaurs lived with Adam and Eve 6,000 years ago and see how they do in college entrance exams. Let them study the Bible instead of world history, instead of the law, and see how they do getting into law school and medical school, right? They want to believe science, like, they don't want to believe natural selection. Again, let them try to get into medical school. But I almost feel like they don't want to get vaccinated, put them in a little room or let them stay in their own little states, put some walls up and let them all be not vaccinated together and see what happens, kind of like, okay, like whatever, but yeah, exactly. We'll let you guys leave first, but how long are my moms? I fear it might be another month. I have no idea. We're going to see. We shall see. Yeah, Russian propaganda, of course, will be having lots of fun with the Trump wannabe shooter. Again, wasn't an assassination attempt because we don't know if it was an assassination attempt yet, too. This is one thing, again, the media is jumping. We think it was a probable preparation for an assassination attempt. We don't know that. We think it was, but they've not proven that yet. But I wouldn't be surprised if it turns out to be one. But you shouldn't jump to like, for example, the last guy. They still haven't found a motive. Like the last guy who was the registered Republican, they still don't know why he did it. I mean, it can take a while. It can take a while. What else? Beep, beep, beep. Just reading the comments on YouTube. Do I think Trump's desire to release January 6th convicts is a page from his Afghanistan withdrawal playbook? He wants the terrorists available for January 6th. Oh, that's interesting. I don't know about the Afghanistan. That's funny. I don't think the Afghanistan withdrawal had anything to do with Trump wanting, bad people available to take over. But for January 6th, it does. Sure. He wants 1,000 hardcore people that tried to violently overthrow the government, and Trump pardons them and says you're exonerated, right? A, it beholdens them to him, and B, it tells them, if you try to violently overthrow the government, I'll get you off the hook. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. So maybe if you do it again, I'll get you off the hook again, right? So I think that's for sure going on. Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate that. Then, well, Fellows Deli, I'm a little confused because if you were in my backyard with an automatic weapon, you'd be the first person telling me that's your constitutional right and I should shut up about it, right? I think you're on the wrong political side here. You'd be the person saying that it's okay to take an armed weapon into a Walmart. These goofballs, Google it, folks. These idiots go into American department stores and American home stores, and they have these huge military style weapons on their back. I'm talking the things are this freaking big. They're 2 meters long practically on their back, 6 feet on their back. And these idiots go and think that you shouldn't be scared. And the problem is when you see these idiots in stores, you don't know, is it a mass shooter ready to kill your children, or is it just a Republican gun nut? Right. So, yeah. I mean, you guys have created, and again, this is why these shootings happen. These guys have a fetish for guns. Like I said, it's their sex toy, and they won't, it's their sex toy, it's their religion. Again, just watch these guys. Anybody complaining about Trump and this almost assassination attempt yesterday? Not a single one of them wants to get rid of a gun. Nobody, none of them will suggest anything. They're going to say, let's all get together and give our thoughts and prayers and hold a candlelight vigil, and then make sure that the gun that was used to prepare to shoot Donald Trump is available to every crazy person in America who wants to use it. Not a single one of them will try to ban any guns as a result of this. Not a single one. So it's okay, maybe you don't, maybe they don't care. They don't care. Children are getting killed weekly in schools. And what did J.D. Vance call that? A fact of life, I think he called it. Kids getting killed, because we keep mass murdering children in our schools. J.D. Vance, who's Trump's vice president, said it's just a fact of life in America. We should just accept it because that's what happens. Well, that's what happens when you have one political party. Some Democrats are bad too, but it tends to be Republicans. When you have one political party that cares more about a piece of metal than they do children's lives, yes, it does. It does. Yeah, fact of life, we have to move on. Exactly. A concept of an attempt. That was pretty good, Casey. I see what you did there. A fact of life we have to live with, he said. Thank you, JJ. Yes, a fact of life we have to live with. Why is it a fact of life that we have to live with that gun nuts who get guns because Republicans let them get guns keep trying to kill our children and keep trying to now kill our presidents? Why is that? No other country in the world does this happen like it does in our country. Certainly not in any developed country. And we're supposed to go, oh yeah, that's just normal. That literally every day there's a mass shooting, that every month there's an attack on a school and they kill a bunch of children. Yeah, I mean, just live with it. Just live with it. It's okay. Yeah, that was part of it, Sword. There was weird Ukraine stuff with the shooter, some weird scheme he had to recruit Afghans to fight in Ukraine. I mean, it was he's weird. There's all the stories about this guy. And again, by the way, why was this guy allowed to get a gun? Because Republicans don't want to stop anybody. Republicans love to say, oh, he was a crazy person. We don't think crazy people should get guns, except they do think crazy people should get guns. They never want to stop the crazy people. Every time a crazy person gets a gun and kills all these people, they never want to do anything to stop these crazy people from getting guns. So it's like, okay, I mean, he was a Republican, actually, Maddie. It's kind of funny. I think he supported Donald Trump originally. He supported, didn't want Trump reelected though, but supported Tulsi Gabbard, then supported Nikki Haley, who, the Republican nominee running against Trump because he didn't like Trump anymore. But he still was kind of Republican. This guy is cuckoo he looks cuckoo from every interview I've seen. Not every interview. The interviews I've seen and the stories I've written, he seems very, very weird. Supported Vivek. That's right. He supported Vivek, but he also supported Nikki. Oh, was it Nikki and Vivek? It was Nikki and somebody else. Was it Nikki and Vivek? I didn't remember. It was Nikki Haley and some other guy that he wanted, I think, as his choice. Well, as soon as vehicles are used to start mass murdering children, I'll be concerned about them. But currently, here's the problem. Americans have shown that they're responsible enough to use vehicles. They're not responsible enough to use guns. You guys have a sex toy, your gun, that you want out there, or it's your Bible, whatever it is to you, depending on your personal peccadillos. And you don't mind that it's constantly being used to murder people on purpose. Cars are not used to murder people on purpose much at all. Cars are safe. Cars, by the way, are not made to kill people. Guns are literally made to kill people. And the very fact that you're responding in the way you are proves my point. You literally think it's your sex toy or it's your Bible. It's a fetish for you people. That's what I mean. Calling it a religious thing isn't even enough. It's a freaking fetish. It's a piece of metal. And you people are like, oh my God. It's like J.D. Vance and his couch, like asking J.D. Vance to get rid of his couch. Oh my God, no, not my love. You're the same way about your gun. It's like you sleep with it or something. I mean, it's just really, it's just creepy, And again, you have to make up all these stupid things. Bottom line is, you guys have proven you're not capable of owning a gun. You're not responsible enough. And that's why people keep dying. We've tried to do it your way and we failed. You're just not responsible enough. Or all these people wouldn't keep getting guns and shooting people if America was responsible enough to have guns. Clearly not. Well, Diamond and Jeep, I'm going to guess, first of all, that story probably isn't true. So that would be the first response. Also, if she only got 4 months in jail for murdering someone, then I guarantee you're not telling us the whole story. Because in America, you don't murder someone. You don't literally get a gun and murder a child on purpose and get 4 months in jail. That literally doesn't happen. So I call bullshit. Mark, I heard about the BBC journalist that died. Yeah. But, I don't think anybody thinks it's foul play. But, what else we got, guys? The gun nuts get so upset when you try to take away their little sex toy. Do you think it's dodgy? It's weird, but I've heard some things that I don't want to repeat. There's lots of ways young men die. Some of them are not by someone else murdering them. So, Oh, sorry, Amanda. Yeah, I just happened to see it, so I thought I would take it out. Yes, Elon did delete the tweet because Elon seemed to show some consternation that no one was trying to kill the president or the vice president. And it wrote a tweet about it and then got a lot of hell for it. So he finally deleted it and complained that when I told all my friends, they thought it was funny. It's like, great, Elon. That's good. That's good. That is correct, PC Noel. How is Elon not in trouble yet? Because he's too big to fail, right? He's got a business that no one can replace, so they're afraid to go after him, I think. JD, asked, do you think this gunman situation impacted Harris's winning chance? It doesn't help. It doesn't help. It enlivens Trump's people. It makes his fans go crazy. It gives more momentum, more emotion, more, we're going to stand with Trump. You don't want that. You'd rather have that kind of feeling on your side, not on the other side. So it certainly helps Trump in that regard by making his base more enraged and engaged. Also, Trump is a wannabe dictator. He's a fascist. He's an authoritarian. Trump likes nothing better than to say, and he started saying, I took a bullet to the head, which he said the other day. He likes nothing better than to talk that way, because that's what authoritarians do, right? I'm embattled. They're trying to kill me, but I will stop the evil communists. It's just, yeah. It feeds Trump's own rhetoric of violence, which is bad. And as I said, separately, it's bad because also we don't really want a culture of political violence starting in this country where people start killing political candidates back and forth. That would be very bad. So, I did see that, but I wasn't sure. Elon deleted the account of the guy who was preparing to shoot, who we think was preparing to shoot Trump. I thought I saw that. I wasn't quite sure. Yeah. But what do you do? Thank you, Larissa, for the gift. Yeah, Elon is totally in Trump's pocket. Elon Musk wants something from Trump. Clearly. I mean, clearly. Absolutely clearly. So, Oh, sorry, guys. I'm tired. Oh. Now, let's see how long the story goes. The last Trump shooting went about 3-4 days, and then the story became nothing, Yeah, Elon wants a lot of, that's the only reason Elon's sucking up to Trump. Elon thinks Trump's an idiot, I think, but he's sucking up to him because he wants something, But this has been a crazy news cycle. Within 3 to 5 days, the story's changed to something else. Let's face it too. JD Vance is going to keep being an idiot, talking about Haitians eating people's cats and dogs, which they don't do. But he's going to keep that controversy going, which will get off topic of this, or we'll start talking about couches again or something. So. No, Trump wants to see Russia great again. He doesn't care about America. He wants to see his pockets full of money. He doesn't care about America. Hates the troops, tried to violently overthrow the government, called American prisoners of war and killed election suckers and losers, tried to steal the election, stole classified information, sucks up to America's enemies, Russia, North Korea, while attacking America's allies. He doesn't love America. Said he wants to be a dictator on day one, doesn't believe in the Constitution. He actually talked about suspending the Constitution, talked about he wanted to shoot rioters, not rioters. He wanted to shoot peaceful protesters outside the White House using the U.S. Army. He's not American. He doesn't want to make America great. And by the way, America's already great. So maybe you guys need to start loving your country a little more and stop trash talking it. I know that's kind of a MAGA thing. You guys don't like the country, but we are a great country. We don't need you to make America great. It is great. And maybe show a little respect for your country would be nice. It might be. I don't know. It might be. The eating pet story might be a distraction. She's saying it's a distraction from Bernie Moreno, the Republican nominee for U.S. Senate. It might be. It might be. Thank you, Mustard. I am tired today, though. Like I said, I'm just tired. Although often I'll make a coffee in the afternoon and I didn't, so that could be part of the problem. I'm trying to cut back a little. So like I'm not having my coffee an hour and a half ago, I'm less like, and I don't want to do my inhaler if I can help it. If I did my inhaler, I would perk up. You did miss the Ukraine update, Mundashi. Yes, you did. Where in the Q&A port, usually Ukraine and the election happen in the first 40 minutes, 45 minutes. We're already 52 minutes into the show. Thank you, Macabre. It is exhausting, Lucinda. And just there's more than that, but that's part of it. Yeah. It's just very tiring, you know. Your contractor was in the USSR. That's interesting. I did have coffee for breakfast. I was trying to skip that afternoon cup, which clearly leaves me kind of, thank you, NJ Patman, for the gold medal. Very nice. Well, no, this is true. Last time somebody tried to kill Trump or shot at him, Trump didn't go up in the polls. Remember, the guy shot at him. 2 days later was the Republican convention, and the combination didn't change the polls at all. So I did see that one of the Jackson 5 died today, Tito. I mean, I like Michael Jackson a lot. I didn't love the Jacksons. They were okay. But so I'm less, oh my God. It's sad. It's always sad when the big cultural icons die. Thank you, Lindu. Thank you, Maddie. Hey, Ayub, I have been here. Where have you been? If it's been a long time, it's because you've not been visiting me. So I am good, thank you. We are still here, still kicking butt. Ukraine opened a new front to Russia today. There was, as I said, there was a report that the Ukrainians did capture a town or two from the Russians. I don't know if that was part of the new front. I'm assuming it might be. But I did not see the Jackson 5 Saturday morning cartoon. How many of them are still around? Any of them? Michael and Tito. I don't know about the other ones. Ukraine launched another drone strike into Moscow. Well, that's good. A lot of them are still around. Okay. Oh, Janet, of course. Janet's around, but she wasn't the Jackson 5, though. Right? LaToya. But she was in Jackson 5. Wasn't Mike? There were no girls in the Jackson 5. I mean, Janet would sing with them and LaToya, but right? But they weren't. Am I right? It was the boys. The 5 were boys. Jermaine, Tito, Michael. God, I'm forgetting the other names. But in the 5 was only boys. Yeah. Oh, but Janet was, Michael was the biggest star. Janet was the second. Yeah. Is she still around? I mean, meaning in the news, kind of doing music? She was very good. Jackie, Tito, Jermaine, Marlon, and Michael. Okay, Marlon. You never hear of Marlon. But yeah, you don't hear of Janet Jackson anymore, really. And not that I follow her music, but like I said, she was so amazing. She's touring. Okay. She's still pretty. She always was. She always was. Yep. I lost weight because I needed to lose weight. What happened? You sound like the opposite of my mother. My mother would always kept saying, "You look like you need to lose a little." Actually, no, my mother would always do this. She would always tell me that I visit, "You look like you put on a little weight." And then when I'd lose weight, she'd go, "You look like you've lost a little weight. Are you okay?" And I remember finally saying to her, like, "What do you want?" Hard to say. I mean, I've been living here in Chicago for a month, and I have not had as much food. I mean, it's been hard because I don't have like my refrigerator and all my meals I normally make. So I don't know. Maybe I'm not eating as well. I don't know. Thank you, Lindu. But I did need to lose a little weight. So right now, I don't think I've lost too much weight at all. But thank you for noticing. I just think it's funny with the mom thing of you look a little heavy, and then you look like you've lost some weight, and not done in a good way, Right? That's the other thing. You're fat and piles food on the plate. That was the other thing. Right. Why don't you eat enough? You just got done telling me I've gained weight. Big Italian Gin, she always says we're getting too fat. Oh, that's funny. But after the huge dinner, though, right? Yeah. That's very funny. LaToya, I don't remember LaToya well enough. I know the name Jackson, but I don't remember if she was beautiful. Oh, plastic surgery. Oh. A lot of the MAGA people do that. Ooh, I saw sort of a picture today, a picture compilation of that Lara Trump, who Trump made the head of the Republican National Committee, that Laura Loomer. I'm forgetting a couple of the other women where it was just like, I mean, there are horrible societal pressures on women. Thank you, Kanji Person for the Heart, to be beautiful, and especially on TV. Having said that, I don't like that Laura Loomer. I mean, I don't understand women who do that. I really don't get it. I just don't. I mean, like, why would you do that to yourself? They look like Siegfried and Roy and those guys. You know what I mean? Like, why would you do that? Kimberly Guilfoyle has gotten pretty bad. It's shocking. I was looked at the other day at what she used to look like. My God. I mean, she was this beautiful woman. You know, thank you, Art for Change. Uh-oh, the dog is barking. The dog is barking. I have to take a peek. This either means she's got to go out or she's being a little bit of a biatch and begging me for food. Loomer is 31. Oh, stop it. Stop it. Oh, my God. So there's literally no excuse for her doing plastic surgery if she's 31. No, I mean, you know what I mean? Sure, if you have some issues, but oh, my God. Oh, that's horrible. Yeah, I don't like. Sasha, come here. Come on, let's go. Okay, she does have to go pee. 1 second, guys. I'll be right. The dog has to pee. All right, come on. Come on. All right. Middle of the show. So what else is new? Oh, hello. All right. I was here. She goes walking in the other room. I was correct. The dog had to go pee. You know, the dog gets. Yeah, but Pelosi looks good though. I mean, I there are people who get plastic surgery who get away with it. Damien is like the expert on this because he used to live and work in Hollywood, and he's told me that it really depends on it depends on the doctor, and you don't quite know until afterwards. It also depends, plastic surgery depends on your face. Like some people's faces can take plastic surgery, they might look better. Other people cannot. And the other thing then becomes, once you get plastic surgery, you need to keep updating it because eventually it slips or falls or whatever you call it, right? That you got to keep doing it, and then you're in trouble because each time you're doing a little more, and all of a sudden, right? All of a sudden you're doing this, and then you become Kimberly Guilfoyle because there's only so much you can do, you know? I mean, it's, you know, thank you, Alexa. I think I didn't quite, oh, see, of course I said your name and the box went off. You know how that works. Yes, thank you. Can the Kursk incursion make a real difference? Well, Matt, I mean, so he's talking about the Ukrainians invading Russia and taking a chunk of land, which they have successfully so far. It's important for a few reasons. One, I think most importantly, if the war were to end because Donald Trump tries to make it end, right? Or just if the war ends, period, Ukraine's got a chunk of Russia. Now Russia's in trouble. The Russians have got to get that land back. The Russians cannot end the war and say, because otherwise Russia's going to end the war and go, I don't care, right? We are occupying 18% of Ukraine. We're never giving it back, right? Make us. Now the Ukrainians can say, okay, then we're going to make that little bit of land of yours we took in Kursk, Ukraine. It's now Ukraine. Thank you. And the Russians, that's bad. So this has given Ukraine some very interesting bargaining chips. Secondly, it's embarrassing to Putin, which is great. Some woman may be trying to walk up to our house, which would be annoying because she's going to interrupt the show. I just saw her stop and look as though she's about to walk up. Please don't do it. Please don't do it. But it's embarrassing to Putin, weakens him, which is always good to do to your opponent. I knew it. I freaking knew it. Hold on. Oh, 1 second, guys. God. Oh, I mean, this was very sweet, actually. It was a neighbor who had heard about Mom and wanted to come by, but as a neighbor who I didn't know, but lived down the block. So it was really very sweet, but I was kind of like, I do this internet show for a living, and I've got like 1,000 people watching who are going to find this very sweet. So don't worry, but I've got to get back to work. So, oh my God. Oh, that was, I mean, funny in a way. I told you, I saw her look in the window and turned back and I said, oh shit, she's coming to the house. Well, yeah, but what do you do? I'm not going to like shut the door on her and go, I can't talk right now. You know what I mean? Like, even though I shouldn't have left you waiting, but sorry. Oh my. Anyway, it was very sweet. It was very sweet. So, but yes, we like nice neighbors. So what were we talking about? Oh, yeah. So I think the biggest thing for Ukraine invading and taking Kursk is hopefully using it to trade if Putin can't get it back. I just hope he can't get it back. Let's see. Thank you, Marsha, for the gift. Thank you, Danan. Keep the gifts coming. Now that I'm back, keep the gifts coming, guys. Thank you. Thank you, Bet. I appreciate that. Now, would you say your name Bet or Betty? If it's Bette, I'm assuming Bet or Betta. Ooh, if we're going to get German or whatever that is, Betta or Klingon. Why don't we liberate Ukraine? Well, another question. Thank you, Colin. Thank you, User336. Thank you, Timothy. I mean, we have worked very hard to make sure Russia doesn't take Ukraine, but too many of the European countries, France and Germany, and Biden himself have been terrified of beating Vladimir Putin because he has nuclear weapons and he'll get mad. So thank you, Marcia, Colin, Lulu, or Luis. Luis, I thought I said Lulu. Luis, I like Lulu though. That could be your drag name. Thank you, Luis. So yeah, I would love us to liberate Ukraine, but unfortunately, everyone's too afraid of Putin. Thank you, Mar, or Mayor, Danan, Marcia, Lulu. Well, we had an old friend of the family named Lulu. I thought it was a great name, Lulu. It's like, what a great nickname for a woman. Thank you, Danan. And she was a Lulu. I mean, just over the. Oh no, that was a different woman. Lulu was different. That Lulu was still around, actually, Mom's friend. She was not over the top. There was another woman who was over the top. I'm forgetting her first name, but she was another one. It was funny. All of my parents' friends. Your nickname is Smash for Ash. That's funny. Michael Stacchino, I'm happy to end the war by beating Russia. All Russia has to do is actually pull out and go home. That'll end the war. Kind of like World War II. If you want the war to end, tell the Germans to go home. I mean, that's how you end the war. The new Jeeps, as per the mechanics, are unreliable. Interesting. All right. All right. What else? Science Journal endorsed Harris. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Not sure what that means, but that's interesting. Will Russia actually strike Ukraine if we approve long-range weapons? I mean, with nukes? No. Not if we've told them they better not. We know who Lulu. We know. John S. says, in UK, we have a pop singer named Lulu performing for 60 years. We know who Lulu is. To Sir with Love. We love Lulu. It's the only song of hers we know, but we love Lulu. Those of us of a certain age. I didn't know she's still performing. That's funny. Canadian elections, I don't know anything that's going on there. Not a thing going on. Yeah. I got to watch that again. It was a good movie. I watched it when I was a kid. But I don't know anything more about it now. I mean, I haven't watched it since then, like since the early 1970s. It's been a while. The second assassination attempt, I mean, what's to think? You know what I mean? Assassination bad. I mean, I'm quite serious. Like, I'm not sure what to, I mean, we talked earlier about what impact it could have in the race and whatever, but I mean, my opinion of it, bad, killing people bad. I mean, I don't think it helps. It creates a climate of even more violence because you're going to see some Trump nut now want to kill Biden or it just feeds the crazies. It seems like a stunt. I don't know. I suspect it's real. Meaning it doesn't feel like it's fake to me. I don't think so. The U.S. elections are entertaining. That is true. Ukrainians going to downtown Moscow? Not yet. If the U.S. cuts them off, all bets are off if that happens. Oh, she's going on tour. Wow. Lulu, that's cool. You don't support the war in Ukraine. That's okay. The Russians don't either. So, America's enemies don't either. So, defenders of freedom do. Real conservatives do. Real Americans do. So, I believe in defending freedom. I believe in defending America. I believe in standing up to America's enemies. I believe in standing up to evil dictators like the Russians. So, yeah. That's what America first really means. It means actually believing in America and standing for America's values, not just for America's enemies. So, it's not going to out JJ. I mean, do you think this guy being so big and helping Ukraine will hurt American support? He gives the crazies another reason to not support Ukraine. The thing is, they already don't support Ukraine. I mean, the only person, thank you, Suzex for subscribing. The only person who cares that that the guy who was getting ready to shoot Donald Trump supported Ukraine are people who hate Ukraine anyway. They're crazy MAGA people who hate Ukraine and hate and love Russia. So to some degree, big deal, Think Adventures. They already work for America's enemies. So, Putin loves it. And the MAGA people who love America's enemies will love it, but whatever. I don't think it's not going to influence anybody in the middle. The only thing is, it just gives the crazy people more fuel to salivate and go, bleh. You know what I mean? That's the only thing that worries me. Is Russia more dangerous now or during the Cold War? I'd say Cold War. They're a little erratic right now, but during the Cold War, they were a bigger military threat during the Cold War. I think. I'd be curious what our military friends out there think. I don't know, is Edsel out here or some of the rest of you? But I think the Russians were a greater threat to us militarily during the Cold War. Now, their conventional military, big deal. I mean, for Ukraine, it's tough, but we could blow them apart. Their nuclear weapons are always a problem, but same thing as during the Cold War. They launched nukes, we launched nukes. So I'm less worried about that. Yeah, Peter's saying the same thing. But they were predictable. Yes, Matt. Now, you could argue they're predictable today, too. I mean, Putin, I don't think Putin's been unpredictable at all, really, right? I mean, we predict him invading. Even all the bullshit nuclear threats, they're totally consistent. It's not like, oh, my God, Putin's making nuclear threats, right? It's like, it's, oh, my God, ha, 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 Putin's making another nuclear threat the third time this week, right? It's totally predictable in a way. So I shouldn't say, I said erratic. They're not really erratic. They are slightly irresponsible, though. They're acting like children. They're acting like teenagers. You know what I mean? We're going to help the Houthis. Really? You're going to help the Houthi rebels blow up international shipping, which affects Russian ships too? Are you stupid? Like, what's that about? So, I don't know. Dinner tonight is looking iffy. I had some Greek soup earlier, which was not enough. I am sick and tired of eating pizza. If I eat any more pizza, I will die. I've got to see. There may be a little more frozen food downstairs. I need to. The problem is, again, I'm not living out of my own house, so I don't have enough of the food I normally get. So it's made it a little even the stuff in the cupboard. Like, I've got enough stuff in the cupboard to put different things together. It's just not easy living out of somebody else's house. So. But yes, I'm going to have to make some dinner because even though I had some Greek soup earlier, now I'm hungry again. Thanks for reminding me. Well, I like pizza, but I'm eating a lot of frozen pizzas. And I don't like frozen pizza to start with. And I can handle them, but it's too much, Yes, the Libertarian Party said about Harris. I did. I got huge traffic on Twitter for that. The Libertarian Party of New Hampshire... what was the exact quote? I don't have it in front of me. What was the exact quote they said? I'm forgetting. But basically, they sort of called for Kamala Harris to be shot. And then they removed the tweet after they... Oh, thank you, Ryan. I can look on Discord. Let me see. All right. Otherwise, I can Google it. I like Chinese. Greek soup is called avgolemonos soup. It's a chicken-based soup that you put a lot of pieces of chicken in, cook rice in there, and then you whip eggs, add some lemon to the whipping of the eggs, add a little bit of the hot soup to the eggs to temper it, more hot soup, and then pour that back into the soup and keep heating it to, kill the eggs a little bit. And it thickens up and makes a wonderful thick, it makes almost the eggs make it thicken to almost creaminess. 1 or 2 eggs, depending on how much soup you're making, but it thickens it and makes it a very creamy, you think it's cream, but it's actually the egg that's thickening it, which is really interesting. All right, let me look on Discord. Here we go. All right, thank you, Ryan. Let me go to the site and find the exact quote. Here we go. Hold on. Oh, I forgot this. They said anyone who murders Kamala Harris would be an American hero. Then they deleted the tweet and complained that they're an oppressed minority and nobody can get free speech anymore on Twitter, and it's oppressing their free speech, saying that you can't, call for the sitting vice president to be assassinated. It's like, okay, yeah, yeah. And Elon Musk had a really weird kind of pro-assassination tweet as well that he took down and complained nobody can take a joke. Yes, Elon. Or perhaps it's you. Or perhaps it's you. For many. Oh, Mr. Miller, yep. The FBI knows. I'm sure they know. Thank you, Danan, for the dolphin. What else, guys? We'll go another minute or two and then call it quits. The green screen. There's no green screen. Oh, the green screen. What you mean? Oh, you mean when I do the video? I have no green screen now. Yeah, I do it sometimes. TikTok gets weird though. Sometimes TikTok doesn't like when I do the green screen. They think it's not an original video, and I'm like, what does that mean? So yeah, I try not to do it much because TikTok has a bunch of fact or what do you call them? The moderators. They're people from all over the world, and some of them are just a little. They're not exactly the most qualified people in the world. Thank you, user. But I literally had people do that, say that the moderators go, "This was not an original video." I'm like, I put a newspaper headline behind my head, and then talked about the story for a minute. Like literally, the only thing unoriginal was a newspaper headline. Like, okay. And then they usually back down, but I'm like, damn. Yeah, China likes to censor. Yeah, I've been seeing Mark Cuban doing a lot of speaking out, though, which is good about Elon and sort of the MAGA people. They're pissing him off, which is good, though. Anything else, guys? Otherwise, we can call it quits. We've been doing almost an hour and 20, which is a good amount of time for us. Oh, thank you for the eyes, Danan. Appreciate that. Today's Monday. God, I was thinking when's the next weekend show. I keep forgetting it's literally Monday. Oh, my God. All right, guys, I think I'm going to sign off. Thank you for joining us tonight. I did not see the new commercials for the Democratic Party, Magical, sadly. But I will be back tomorrow night. I do this every Monday to Friday, 6 o'clock Eastern time, US, 5 o'clock Central time in Chicago, where I'm visiting at the moment. But we talk about the latest news from Ukraine. We talk about the latest election news. So tonight was a lot of the assassination stuff. But tomorrow we'll hopefully be talking more about polls and other things. Thank you, Mikey. I try to be a nice host. Not always, but I try. And we will see you guys all tomorrow. Oh, Bunny 6, sorry. I will see you guys all tomorrow. So join us then. Moderators, thank you. Thank you all as well for coming and gifting and just being here. So I appreciate that. Thank you. Cool. All right, guys. I'm going to sign off, and I will see you guys tomorrow. All right. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Oops. All right, YouTube. Boom.